Hello well-wishers and welcome to my channel Aspiring Minds. In today's video, we are going to discuss another famous poem by Wilfred Owen called Dulce et Decorum Est, and it is one of my poems that's close to my heart because I appeared for this poem in my ISC examinations. Yes, you heard it right. So grab your virtual seats and let's begin. Before I proceed with decoding the line-by-line meaning of the poem, first of all I want to draw your attention to the title of the poem, that is Dulce et Decorum Est. Now basically it is a continuation of the Latin phrase. The full phrase is Dulce et Decorum Est pro patria more, and this is a Latin phrase which literally means it is sweet and proper to die for one's country. Now Wilfred Owen has given it as the title of the poem to show how this phrase is something that should not be followed, because ultimately through this phrase what would happen is war as an idea was glorified. It was thought to be something extremely great and wonderful, but that is not the case. And through the course of the poem we will see how Wilfred Owen gives sufficient examples. He uses images to show that war is something that is definitely not great and is not a solution to the problems. Let us know a little bit about the poet Wilfred Owen. He lived between 1893 to 1918. He is a renowned English poet known for powerful war poetry. He was a specialist in writing war poetry, and do you know why? Because he was one of those people who had had a first-hand experience of war, and it is because of this that he portrays such a realistic image of the horrors and the futility, the uselessness of war. Dulce et Decorum Est was written during World War I, and this is a time which was marked by brutality and loss of life. The poem is a kind of a response or an answer to the glorification of war. You know, in those days, people thought that war is something which is a very beautiful thing, and people will get a lot of fame and glory, just as in today's times. It is a very respectable thing if you are a film star or you are a popular personality. In those times, the fame was associated with being a soldier, and the Latin phrase Dulce et Decorum Est pro patria more, which literally translates to it is sweet and proper to die for one's country, is something that was seen as a kind of a slogan which everyone wanted to adhere to. But that is what the poet is pointing out, that war is not a solution to the glory that you want, the fame and reputation that you want from war. To tell you about the central message of the poem, the poet is particularly wanting to condemn, to stop, to break the notion of glorifying war, because he feels that it is a deceptive idea. It is not honorable at all to die for one's country, because Owen through this poem exposes the harsh, dehumanizing conditions of warfare and the challenges which have to be faced in reality by the soldiers, which was widely prevalent at that time. Let us now decode the line-by-line meaning of the poem. Bent double like old beggars under sacks. Now, who are bent double? It is the soldiers who are depicted as physically and mentally being extremely tired, and he uses the word like, that is, he is comparing the condition of the soldiers to beggars, just as the beggars, because of poor nutrition and weakness, you will see they are generally bent down, not in a very good condition, not physically strong. In winters they'll cover themselves up under sacks because they don't even have proper clothing, right? So that same kind of condition is what is the condition of the soldiers. The weight of their experience is evident, suggesting how war has made these soldiers tired. Knock-kneed, cuffing like hags, we cursed through sludge. So the soldiers are physically tired, they are physically wounded, and they are struggling because the terrain, the area, the landscape where they are walking is muddy. The word sludge means that it's muddy and it's a difficult pathway. The imagery over here further emphasizes the miserable condition of the soldiers. Till on the haunting flares we turned our backs. That is, the soldiers turned away from the blight flares that signal danger, indicating an attack or bombardment. The use of haunting suggests that there is a sense of trauma which is constantly there. See, physically they are already tired and worn out and wounded, and on top of that there is a constant bombing that's happening. They are seeing bright flares coming from here and there, so they can literally see death knocking at the door, and they are trying to save themselves. So physical and mental torture is taking place, and towards a distant rest began to trudge. So despite being tired, the soldiers try to collect themselves together and start walking towards a resting place where they can hide and be safe. Now the place is literally far away also, and it is seeming more far away because of the fact that the soldiers were not physically feeling fit. Men marched asleep, many had lost their boots, so you can understand how much these soldiers were exhausted that they seemed to be sleepwalking. Many have lost their boots, showing that they did not even have time to, properly wear things which can protect them. The harshness of the circumstances is evident over here. But limped on, bloodshot, all went lame, all blind. So the soldiers continued, their feet were covered in blood, emphasizing how terribly they had been injured. They were physically and emotionally injured, impaired, unable to see or understand what was happening around them. Drunk with fatigue. Fatigue means tired. Deaf even to the hoots. So the soldiers are tired, they are fatigued, as if they seem to be intoxicated under the influence of alcohol. They are ignorant to the dangers around them. That is how immune they have become. There are sounds of the hooting of the gas shells constantly around them, but nothing seems to be affecting them because they are so tired of gas shells dropping softly behind. So the gas shells are descending quietly behind them, indicating that there is an unexpected nature of danger which the soldiers are facing with each passing minute, yet they are ignorant to that. They are trying their best to walk mechanically towards the resting place. Next, see, the words are written in capital letters. Gas, gas, quick boys, and ecstasy of fumbling. There is a sudden realization that there's been a gas attack which creates panic among the soldiers. This urgency is emphasized by the use of exclamation marks, and the chaotic attempts to put on gas masks are being described over here, because they of course have some equipment, but they have to be told to wear it, because that's how numb they've become to the situation, that everyone's trying to create that urgency that quickly put on your gas masks. Fitting the clumsy helmets just in time, but someone still was yelling out and stumbling. So the soldiers somehow managed to put their gas masks in the nick of time, but the process is quite difficult for them considering how tired and exhausted and wounded they were. Despite efforts, one soldier is struggling. He is yelling because of the exposure to the poisonous gas, because one of them has not been able to gather that strength to even wear the mask which he has, and floundering like a man in fire or lime. So the soldier who was struggling is described that as if he was thrown into fire or in corrosive lime. That is the way he was feeling, the pain, the suffocation. He was feeling so helpless and suffering because of the gas attack. Dim through the misty panes and thick green light, as under a green sea I saw him drowning. So the scene is portrayed over here by the mist of the gas. The green lights add an eerie and disorienting quality to the atmosphere. So you can see that the soldiers are wearing helmets, so there is mist which is accumulating on the part through which they are seeing because of their own sweat and perspiration, number one, and secondly because there's gas all around, that is also adding a layer of mist. And over here he is seeing what the drowning metaphor over here emphasizes how the gas is that of a suffocating and deadly nature. The soldier is helpless and he is dying in the sea of poison. This one soldier who was not able to put up the gas mask on time has started to succumb to death, and the other soldiers are helpless. They are seeing him die right in front of their eyes and are unable to do anything. Now, this sight of seeing a person die right in front of his eyes is something that haunts the speaker. He says, "In all my dreams, before my helpless sight, he plunges at me, guttering, choking, drowning." So, this traumatic experience haunts the speaker. Even when he is sleeping, he is dreaming, the memories, everything is haunted by the experience of seeing a person literally die in front of his eyes. The image that he sees in front of his eyes, see how it is described. This is exactly how the person might have been choked to death. It is described as guttering, choking, drowning, which intensifies the emotional impact and at the same time highlights the horror, the brutality of war, that how he saw the soldier dying right in front of his eyes because he was struggling because of that gas attack that was there. The poisonous gas had just taken a toll on him and the speaker was unable to do anything to help him. If in some smothering dreams you too could pace behind the wagon that we flung him in and watch the white eyes writhing in his face, his hanging face like a devil sick of sin. See what he's saying. The speaker over here addresses the reader, inviting them to imagine the horror that he saw at that time, to show how this is something which is a kind of a universal experience and everyone should take a lesson from it. What was the image that he is trying to direct the attention of the readers to? The image is of a soldier who has died just now. The other soldiers have been forced to just throw him into a wagon which was carrying dead bodies. So imagine a soldier who was capable of fighting a war, within no time, once dead, becomes a commodity, just a thing to be thrown away into a wagon which is pulling in other dead bodies of soldiers. And this image of the dying soldier's eyes emphasizes the human cost of war and how it can lead to a lasting trauma on those who have been witness to such scenes. The comparison of the soldier's face to a devil sick of sin suggests the corruption and the moral decay caused by war, because literally the gas attack had also caused a toll on the physical look of the soldier. His skin had been burnt out. He was looking nearly like a devil. If you could hear at every jolt, the blood came gargling out from the corrupted lungs. So the reader is urged to imagine the gruesome details of this dying soldier, that every time the wagon was moving a little bit, the blood was, as if someone is gargling. That is how the blood was coming out from his lungs. So you can see, even when the person is dying, the gas exposure has caused so much of problem. Obscene as cancer, bitter as the cud of wile, incurable sores on innocent tongues. So the suffering is compared to that of cancer, highlighting the destructive nature of war. There was bitterness like cud, suggesting something unpleasant and hard to swallow. And the image of incurable sores on innocent tongues reinforces the idea of how brutal war can be, that there were some sores which could never be cured, which were there on the bodies of the soldiers. My friend, you could not tell with such high zest means energy, to children ardent for some desperate glory, the old lie, Dulce et Decorum Est pro patria mori. So the speaker directly addresses the reader, challenging them not to promote the idea of war with so much of enthusiasm, pride, or glory. He tells the audience that whoever is trying to have a romantic notion of war, especially the young people who are eager to get this glory, who are wanting to go on this adventure, must know the concluding remark of the poem, that is the traditional saying is basically a lie. The common slogan is Dulce et Decorum Est pro patria mori, but it is a lie because the Latin phrase is repeated at the end to serve as a bitter and ironic refrain. It reinforces Owen's rejection of the glorification of war. So firstly, the poem deals with the horrors of
there
war.
Is a contrast
it clearly depicts that war is something that affects the soldiers not just physically by wounding them, but at the same time it takes a psychological toll on the soldiers as well, because of the dehumanizing and the brutal nature of war, how trauma of war stays on forever,
and
so much of their physical brutality during war. Thirdly, the poem emphasizes and rejects the idea that there is honor
from
in
a state of
sacrificing
rest
one's
to a
life
state of battle,
for a cause,
capturing
because
how
war is never a
unpredictable and
solution.
shocking situation
My video
of
on war poetry is
like.
live. You can also
And
go and watch that on my
lastly,
channel.
what we
And
also
there
saw
are
in
many
stanza
other
5,
war poems
there is
which
a
I have made
silence that
videos
is
on. I
there
have made it on
around
Spring Offensive
these
by
comrades,
Wilfred
the
Owen,
soldiers who
Strange
have
Meeting
died.
by Wilfred
There is a
Owen,
sense
and
of
many other war
reluctance
poems.
to
You
speak
can
about
also
their
have a look at that
sacrifice,
to get a clearer
highlighting the
picture on
emotional
war. I'll
toll
link it
of
in the
war,
I
that is
button
the
above and
soldiers
in
as
the
a belief
description
that,
box
okay,
down below.
someone
And
has
thirdly,
died, someone is
the
alive.
poem
There is
deals
no
with the
emotion
trauma
attached to
and
life
memory,
and death
that is
when our
the
near and dear
lasting
ones
impact
die,
of
or
war on the
if a new
psyche,
baby
as
takes
seen
birth
through
in
the
the family. It
speaker's
is such a
haunting
happy
dreams
or a
and
sad
memories.
occasion in both the cases. But over here, life and death has become something which is not generating any kind of emotion in these soldiers. That is how immune they have become to emotions amidst the harsh reality of war. So that's it from this video. I hope you liked it. Do hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel for more such future updates. Thank you for watching. Bye.